Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the special meeting of Council for the Shire of 2J of the 30th of April 2026. This special meeting has been convened for the purpose of considering the monthly financial statements for February 2026 and all matters related thereto. As we begin, I acknowledge the Ballardong Noongar people, who are the traditional custodians of the land where we meet today, and the Wadjuk and Yuin people, who are traditional owners of other lands in the Shire of 2J. And I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. We have in the council chambers today Councillor Prater, Councillor Mills, Councillor McCormick, Councillor Deval, Councillor van der Hayden and myself, Councillor McEwen. I have no apologies, no approved leave of absence. Do I have any disclosures of interest? Not for this one, no. So, which brings us to public question times, Mrs. Ruthven. You had some questions?
Thank you. Beth Ruth.
Beth, can you just for a moment, Steve, could you assist there, perhaps? While you're doing that, Mrs. Ruthven, Councillor Madachi has just joined us. So Councillor Madachi is online. Are you ready to make your statement, Councillor?
Yes, I am. I disclose under the provisions of Regulation 14CA of the Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996 that I can maintain confidentiality during the meeting or any closed part of the meeting, if required, in accordance with Regulation 14CA5.
Thank you, Councillor. Back to you, Mrs. Ruthven.
Thank you. My first question relates to page 16 of the attachments. And it is, would you please explain what is included under the heading Other Liabilities, which have a total of $3,322,258?
I'll pass that over to the Exec Manager of Money.
Thank you. In accordance with Australian Accounting Standards AASB 9 and AASB 120, $1.4 million is for bonds and deposits held for extractive industry licences, and $1.8 million is grant funds received but not yet spent.
Thank you. Okay, also on page 16, would you please explain which assets were included in the loss on asset disposal with a value of $742,000?
That was the sale of the land and buildings of Connors Cottage and the Bendigo Bank. And this was because the book value was $742,000 higher than their sale price.
Thank you. Right. Page 17, under insurance, would you please explain what the unforeseen circumstances were which raised insurance costs by $69,466?
There was an increase in insurance costs higher than we anticipated in the budget. That was because at the time of preparing the budget, we didn't have the accurate premium for this year.
Thank you. Page 21, would you please explain why the proceeds from the sales of the Bendigo Bank building and Connors Cottage are listed in term deposits and not in reserve accounts?
Because they are separate term deposits that form part of the reserve fund.
Okay. Is reserve in the title of the deposits?
They don't need to be.
Thank you. Okay, page 22. The buildings reserve shows an actual transfer figure of $1,116,873. Is this the proceeds from the sales of the Bendigo Bank building and Connors Cottage? And if yes, why does it conflict with the information on the previous page about them being in term deposits?
Yes, it is the transfer to reserve on the sale of those property, and there's no conflict as the term deposits form part of the reserve account.
What period on page 26 does the GST receivable figure of $226,000, $470 cover?
The GST receivable figure covers all transactions that have not been claimed up until the 28th of February 2026. There is always a lag due to the monthly financial reports being prepared prior to the monthly claim that's been submitted to the ATO.
Thank you. On page 28, there is a figure under ATO liabilities of $67,826. What period does that cover?
So that covers all transactions up until and including the 28th of February 2026, which have not yet been claimed by the ATO. So that includes fringe benefits tax and any GST that's payable on sales. And as I previously said, there's a timing difference as the monthly financial reports are prepared prior to the submission of the monthly claim to the ATO.
All right, okay, but the question was, what period does it cover? So if it finishes on the 28th of February, when did it start?
It will be the 1st of February. 1st of February 2026, so yeah, for this financial year.
And also on 28, there's a statement that says that the aged trial balance for payables for February was not available. So why is it not available at the end of April?
That note is incorrect.
Lastly, would you please explain what is included in the total of $1,882,089 for other liabilities? I think you've already answered that.
Yeah, correct, I have.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Mrs. Ruthven. We have no public submissions regarding the matter before us tonight. The officer's recommendation is on page 11 of the agenda. The officer's recommendation being that council receives the monthly financial statements for February 2026, attachment 1. Seeing as we haven't had a chance to have questions about this, does anybody wish to ask a question before we move any further? Yeah, Councillor Mills.
Thank you. I think this may have been asked previously, just for clarifications, in regards to employee costs. The note states that it's gone up because it's understaffed, but it has gone up since last month by, I think, around 400,000. So, but it states that the costs have gone up because of staff shortages. It's in the. Just find it.
So employee costs are below budget, are below year-to-date budget.
But there's a variation saying it's 25% up.
Correct. Under budget, under year-to-date budget.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, just secondly, your 90 days is doubled compared to last month. So is there just have an explanation in regards to that the 90 days have gone up? Obviously, there's some money owed. That's 90 days.
In relation to which note?
Sorry. It's on the on receivables. On page 26, receivables general. So 90 days has gone up by 15% compared to January's figures.
Yes, that's correct. So, so the 90-day amounts has increased, and we're in the process of sending out statements on those to recover those amounts.
Anyone else? Okay, so do I have a mover for the, sorry?
Excuse me.
Oh, Councillor Madachi, away you go, yep.
Sorry, I do have a small group of questions. On page 13, grants, subsidies and contributions, what accounts for the variance of $107,309? It might have already been answered. I don't know if Mrs. Ruthven has raised this.
Exec Manager?
Through the chair, we were expecting to receive 1.5 million. We've only received 1.4 to date. So that could be because we expected to receive a grant that we weren't successful for, or we haven't completed the works to actually recognise the grant revenue as income.
Thank you. Sorry. The second question is on page 13. Under inflows from investing activities, what accounts for the following underspend in proceeds from capital grants, subsidies and contributions of $3,640,671? In other words, 75.4%.
So through the chair,
Underspend.
that's because we haven't, we only recognise grants, capital grants, when we complete the capital works. So because our capital works program is significantly under budget and some of that is grant funded, we haven't recognised the revenue that's associated with that. So that's why it's essentially because we haven't completed the capital works to be able to recognise that grant revenue as income.
Right. Okay, so then when we go to page 16, there's an almost doubling of cash and cash equivalents. Can you explain that, please?
See that, can you? That's at page 16, did you say, Councillor?
Yes, it was.
So what line are you looking at?
Oh, hang on. I might have
The
put the
first
wrong...
line, is it the first line there?
I haven't got that exactly in front of me because I had to jiggle my questions and the screen.
So what? Could you ask the question again, please?
The question was on page 16, what accounts for the approximate doubling of cash and cash equivalents?
Yeah, got you. Thank you.
So that cash and cash equivalents, it's always higher during the year, and we're now into a phase where we actually start spending some of that money. But what's included in that cash and cash equivalents is all of our reserve funds, any grant funds that we've received in advance that we treat as a liability until we record or register that income, and also bonds and deposits that we're holding for our extractive industry licence.
Right, thank you very much. I've got two more. One is page 16 in trade and other payables. Oh, damn it, sorry. What are the... I wanted to ask, when I'm looking at how the payments are outstanding, do we have a days payable outstanding average or ratio for the Shire for this year? Do we have, and last year, do we have can we measure this, our progress with this?
Oh,
Do you understand the question?
yeah, we can. We can provide statistics on the average number of days it takes to pay a creditor.
Lovely. I will chase you up for that at a later date. And my last two, I'll just scan down, bear with me. Right, it's just really an explanation. On page 17, the explanation of material variances states comparison of actual transaction balances to year-to-date budget cannot be assessed until the current budget is loaded into Datascape. So my question is the budget now loaded? If not, what is the difficulty as in early 2025 we were informed the financials could now be produced out of Datascape?
That part of the note needs to be removed because the budget is in Datascape.
Okay, so then so are the material variances now matching our year-to-date budget? Are they correct, or are they still estimates?
They're still 8/12 of the annual budget, so we haven't got to the stage of budgeting via cash flow. So looking at past income and expenditure experience, and then applying the annual budget to that, so you get a cash flow budget. At the moment, it's just divided by 12 and then multiplied by the number of months.
Thank you. Thank you. And that was my last question.
Thanks, councillor. I think we're okay now to move on. I didn't get a move yet, did I? No. Do I have someone to move? Councillor Prater, seconded Councillor Mills. Do I have any objections?
No.
I declare that carried. Thank you. And I think that will mean that the meeting can be declared closed at 5:47 p.m.